Hello everyone, my name is Anya Hawkins, welcome to my channel. This is a tutorial on how to make a pom-pom out of artificial fur. Sometimes your knitted head needs something on top to make it truly shine. I personally love a good pom-pom, especially a fur one. And I find that they are faster and easier to make than pom-poms out of yarn. And they are also much lighter in weight. The head with such pom-pom sits on your head very comfortably. So let's make one together and then I will show you two ways of attaching it to a head. To make a pom-pom we will need material itself, this typical artificial fur that is on a knitted base. You can get such fur in crafting and fabric stores or you can thrift it from other things. This, for example, was a vest, I think, and this was a detachable collar of some sort. You don't need a lot of it. A piece approximately 5 by 5 inches would be enough even for a big pom-pom. And the fur can be long or can be short. The look of pom-pom will be different, but they all be good. And to judge whether you would like a finished result from some fur, you can just bunch it up in your hand, and then you can imagine how it would look like. We also will need a strong thread. Finger and weight soak yarn with some nylon in it would be perfect. It is strong enough that when you pull on it, it will not break. We also will need sharp needle with big eye, sharp scissors for cutting the fur, pen or pencil, and a ruler. And we will need some kind of filler to put inside of pom-pom so it would hold its shape better. I typically steal some stuffing from a pillow. I made a hole somewhere. There it is. And we need just a pinch. First step, cutting out a square. My favorite size 4 or 4.5 inches or 10-12 centimeters. I find that no matter the length of fur, you can get pretty universal pom-pom that way. But you can go bigger or smaller if you like. Mark your square on the back of the fabric. And now you need to cut it out. There is a secret to it. To cut out your square, you don't cut like that all the way through the fabric. You cut with the very tips of blades in order to cut only the knitted fabric and not the fur itself. If you do that right, you won't see any loose fur anywhere. And now you just need to separate it. Second step, sewing up and stuffing. Take a piece of your sock yarn, 10-15 inches will be enough, or 25-30 centimeters, and thread it in your needle. Take your square, and we need to stitch edges, starting from the middle of any side. You should be pretty close to the edge. And make several big stitches. Leave a tail here. Again, all the work happening on the knitted base, and we try not to disturb the fur side. The thread is not visible from here. It is already starts forming itself. In the end of your stitching, you should get two tails of approximately similar length on one side. Now pull on these tails until you get a little pouch and try to control your fur so it's not get pinched anywhere. Now put a bit of stuffing inside. And pull it closed all the way. That's why we need strong thread. Tie it into a knot. . Shake and admire. Last thing to do is to attach it. And now I will show you two ways of attaching this pom-pom to a hat, and for this we will need our pom-pom and a hat. This is a sample of my Nivosa hat and it needs a pom-pom. First I will show you detachable option. For this we will need a snap, the kind that can be sewed down by hand. And we will need a regular thread and needle. Thread your needle, make a knot on one end, and first we will attach this part to the crown of the hat. Just sew it in place over the edge. I made several stitches here, and now I'll make sure that it is centered, and we'll start stitching in the opposite hole. I made about 5-7 stitches in every hole, and now it's secure enough. Now we need to make a knot on the inside. As you can see, my hat is lined, and it actually helps with sewing because it gives me stability. And I put lining inside just to get additional wind protection. If you're interested in how to make such lining, it's very simple. Also done by hand, no sewing machine is required. There is a link down below in the info box to a video tutorial. Now the hat is prepared, and we need to sew this other part to the base of our pom-pom. Tie another knot in this yarn, just in case, and then cut it off. Now find the middle, place the other half of the snap on top, and carefully sew it down. The main difficulty in this process is not to catch fur with your thread. Once you attached it in two opposite holes, hold your pom-pom like that, and then it will get easier. I made approximately 5 stitches in each hole again. Now it's time to tie a knot. Cut the thread off, shake pom-pom to return the fluffiness to it, and now we can snap it to the hat. Good thing about this method is that you can rotate your pom-pom the way you like it, because this one clearly has a back side, and I would like it to point to the back of the hat. Now, I actually a little bit paranoid about losing my pom-pom when I'm using a snap, so I prefer a more permanent solution. To attach a pom-pom to a hat permanently, we will need again regular sewing thread, a needle, and another needle with a bigger eye. Here we have two tails. Thread one of them in the needle with a big eye, and now we need to bring it inside. Don't stick your needle in the very middle, stick it nearby. Bring this tail to the inside and leave it there. And now thread the other tail into the needle. And now you should stick your needle on the other side of this closure. Both those tails on the inside. Pull on them. And now tie them a couple of times to make it secure, and cut the tails off. Leave approximately 1 inch just to be safe. And it is already secure enough, but we can make it a little more stable. And for this we will need a regular thread and needle. Now let's see. This pom-pom has a back side, and you should align it with the back of the hat. Rotate it, and when it's in the desired position, we can stabilize it. Go with your needle and thread from the inside catch the back side of the pom-pom and again to the inside. Make a couple of such stitches and be careful not to catch the fur. Now turn the head and make a couple of such stitches on the opposite side of pom-pom. Move the pom-pom from time to time to see if there is need in additional stitches anywhere. I think that on this side I need to make a couple of more stitches. And on the opposite side also. And once it feels secure enough on every side, then I go and make a knot on the inside. Or a lot of knots. Cut the thread off, turn it right side out, shake and admire. Well, that was it for this tutorial. I hope you find it useful. The heads that helped me demonstrate awesomeness of Faux Pompom are Nivosa head and Stilatus head. Patterns for them are free and available in my Ravelry store, also on my channel. There are complete video tutorials for both of them, as well as a tutorial on how to line a head with polyester fleece. All links are below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.